A lot of times when we think about psychedelics, we think about the trip component of it. We think about all the crazy things that you're going to see or hear and the ego death, and you're going to like lose your sense of self, and that there might be revelations. Maybe you're going to like meet some dead people. Maybe you're going to meet some future people or something like this. Right. And so there's all this focus on that. And then one of the things that I ran into that was a problem for me when I was in Costa Rica is I would drink a lot of ayahuasca. And then after it was done, then we were just kind of like, all right, good luck out there. You know what I mean? And so there wasn't a process of integration. And so I want to talk a little bit, what is your concept of integration? What is it? Why does it matter? And how did it become the centerpiece for your work?
So you mentioned ayahuasca. I actually went on a ayahuasca journey in 2019, and it was a similar experience where I received so much information from this medicine, and like it was so much information. It was such a long journey. I purged. I like saw myself in past lives. I saw myself as a child. Like it really walked me through a lot of where certain things were living in my body and why. And, you know, it just showed me a lot. And I didn't know what to do with all that information. Like I had sat with a couple friends. They soon became like medicine sisters. Like we sat in circles together and, you know, did a lot of work with the medicine. But at the time I was like, I knew them, but I was like, ooh, I don't know how to talk about what I just saw. And the shamans were amazing. They guided us through this. Even the next morning, like we sat and we spoke a little bit, but then it was like, okay, bye. You know, off you go.
For sure. It's wild.
And I was like, oh shit. So, you know, I was sitting with there were 4 other women, and we naturally gravitated towards each other. And they all happen to be different practitioners. One is a doctor of Chinese medicine. One woman worked in serving cacao ceremonies and sound bath. Another woman worked in tarot and spiritual herbalism. And we really had these different components that were essential, I think, for the type of integration that we needed. And it was great. Like I didn't experience it with the folks who served us the medicine, but I was able to experience integration in real time, which I felt was so much more important. Like I was talking about difficult things with folks, and like, I'm a Puerto Rican woman. Like this isn't something that we're not really open like that. Like expressing yourself in these deep ways is not really like, it's like, no girl, you're good. Like keep it moving, you're good. And so I've held on to that a lot throughout my life. And this was one of the first times that I started to really release those barriers and just like be vulnerable, which was like really difficult. But that medicine journey was so powerful, and I realized I needed to do that. And a lot of times that's what we need. And I've learned that through sitting with clients and just even hearing folks talk about their experiences. And I'm like, well, how do you feel about that? You know, like starting to ask these questions that maybe help you to dig a little bit deeper, because that's what we were all doing for each other, like in this group of women. And I realized how essential that shit was, because it's like, you know, you learn things about yourself, but then you have to put it into practice. And like, it's nice to put it into practice in a safe space where, you know, the folks around you understand that you're on this path of self-remembrance and like coming back to self, and they're there to support you through that journey. And I was really moved by that. Like they're like lifelong friends because of the experiences that we shared. And it was so crucial to my healing. Like I had done all this wellness work prior to that, but nothing was that transformative. And so I felt that it was really important to bring that to our community, because a lot of the folks that come to Bread and Butter events are BIPOC folks, Black folks, Latinos, like every type of person is coming in here and they're looking for this type of healing. And, you know, I've been lucky enough to create a space that people are opening up, and sometimes you need somebody to pull things out of you. So I started recruiting even some of these women. They were the first practitioners to help me work in integration. And it's been really beautiful to see folks, again, like integrating the medicine. And even as a microdose, like the vibrational level of this medicine, I think that folks kind of underestimate. You know, they're like, well, it's not a macrodose, I'm not going to be tripping. And it's like, you don't always need that intense of a medicine journey to come to like those self-revelations. Like you can really just be consistent and be consistent with your practice, and, you know, consistent with yourself, like allowing yourself to be with yourself, and like the healing like happens regardless. Yeah, so integration is key. It's like led me up to this work now. I'm in a master's program currently to be a psychedelic assisted therapist, and so I can bring this to our community in different ways, and maybe not necessarily, I don't know what's gonna be like, but it felt, I'm again picking up those breadcrumbs and following the like, ooh, okay.